Aloha everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel where we are going to be reviewing one of Disney's most beloved movies that they just decided, let's fuck that shit up right away. We're going to be talking about Lilo and Stitch, the new live-action remake of the beloved alien life form that somehow lands on a little place called Hawaii, and he finds this little broken family and decides, hey, this would be a good hiding spot for now while he's on the run, but then learns what family is all about. Now, before we start, I would like everyone to know that I went into this as open-minded as I possibly could because, yes, I am a very big fan of the original movie. I have it tattooed. I've watched that movie so many times. It's been a part of my life forever. So I went into this open-minded. By the end of it, to kind of see how it was, even though at first I was not on board with them making this movie. And by the end of it, I can say that it was definitely a mistake to have done it yet again on Disney's part. But first, let's start with some positives for this movie. I know that the overall arching thing that's going to be happening in here is that there's going to be a ton of negative thoughts and negative process through this. And if you were a fan of the movie, that's fine, I guess, even though I believe that the original is far superior in many ways. And there's many arguments that people can make about why they want to remake this movie. I personally don't think that there are great arguments for it, but if you wanted to watch it, be my guest. Who gives a fuck? Go give that dumbass company even more money than it already deserves at this point. But yes, at first, let's talk about some positives here. I do believe that Stitch, for the most part, works for this iteration of the film. Stitch is seamlessly digitally added to the film. It doesn't feel that out of place. They do have some fun things with the character of Stitch, and while I think that the film portrays a lot of its original character work that it had for Stitch in the animated movie, they do some fun stuff here with him, I guess. And Nani also gets a little bit more characterization than the original movie. In the original movie, she doesn't have a ton of personalized sort of stuff. More or less her story and her personal stuff doesn't really get involved. It's more or less Nani is just the mother figure basically now to Lilo as the big sister. And at least with this, that they tried to give her a little bit more something. It's hinted at in the original, and it's really explored on here that she was a really good surfer, and she really gets a job and shows that she can do things that are tethered to her specific traits. They give her like this thing where she wants to go to college because she wants to do marine biology and that sort of stuff. So in that essence, I do like that they at least gave Nani a little bit more than what the original had given her. Even though I don't think it's necessary, I do find it that they improved on something at least. And Lilo, I thought honestly was fine. I didn't think that this actress portraying her was awful, even though I had worries about it to begin with. But this is their first credited movie. She seems very talented and looks to be that she can only go up from here. It's a pretty high bar, it seems like, for some people to think that she was like this all-world talent brought on screen. I thought she was good enough, but she definitely has a long runway in this industry for sure. And that about ends all the positives that I have for this movie. Like I said, I really wanted to go in this with an open mind and try to be as supportive as I could for a film like this, and it just didn't work. The live-action Lilo and Stitch is a bastardization of the original Lilo and Stitch. The messaging and its themes from the original are not present in this one. More specifically, the idea of ohana, and ohana meaning family, and family means no one gets left behind. They say it, but they don't mean it. I think the live action strays away from any sort of the core values and ideas that the original film had, and all of that just to be what I think is a corporate sort of like directive to have Stitch do Stitch stuff. Which then leads me to characterization for everybody. Outside of the people that I've already mentioned, outside of Stitch, because I'll get to him in a second too, I found that the characters weren't great. While the acting I don't think is the worst, across the board, it doesn't stand out. It's not fun, to me at least. I think that a lot of the CGI for the aliens doesn't work, but in order to counteract all that, you need to have good characters, and I just don't think it does. While Pleakley I don't have the most thoughts on, because Pleakley is such a very one-dimensional character, it feels like. The worst offender is Jumba, because you see Jumba is the creator of Experiment 626, which is later known as Stitch, and in the original he gets a good guy arc by the end of the movie, and it's a little bit more wholesome in that sense. In this, he's straight up the villain. He doesn't get a good guy arc whatsoever. It really takes away from the third act as well, because they also cut a character from the original in this one, and without him, it messes up so much of the end of the movie, and one of those things being Jumba's arc. He's just a menacing guy at that point that was arrested for the creation of this life form, that is now told to get the life form, and that's it. There is no more nuance to that character other than that. He is just straight up evil for the whole movie, and to be honest, it's one of the worst things about it. And also, I didn't find Zach Galifianakis really that funny in the role. And you could argue the nitpick thing of like, he doesn't have the Russian accent like in the original animated one, which is like, yeah, he doesn't, and like I would have preferred it, but I don't think that was the whole driving force of why he wasn't funny in this. I just don't think that the jokes or his character in general was funny. Pleakley, if anybody between the two, is the funnier of the two characters. But one of the other ones that I did find to be lacking very heavily in the live action remake of Lilo and Stitch is Cobra Bubbles. In the original, Cobra Bubbles is supposed to be the social worker, and then turns out by the end of it, spoilers, is that he's the CIA agent, and that really was a fun twist by the end of it, because you already kind of knew he was a little off to begin with, so it was kind of like, why is this big buff black dude with sunglasses and a piercing just being a social worker? Which also leads to the great joke of Lilo being like, your knuckles say Cobra, which I found hilarious. In this film, he's just a CIA agent. He's not a social worker. Actually, the social worker in this film is the original voice actress of Nani, which is a nice little like tidbit of like, hey, remember her? Look at this little Easter egg. But it compromises a lot of what the third act was in the original film and for this. And while they change it enough to where it's like, I could get mad at it, and I was before. This is the second take I've done of making this review, and I was super over the top and annoyed with this. But looking back on it and redoing it, it's like, how they made this film, it wouldn't make sense for certain stuff, yes. But it also, like, I don't know, you took away an antagonist from the original film, which would help support a lot of the problems that you have in this one, just for more Stitch shit at the end of the day. I do not think that this is one of their better remakes, unfortunately. I don't think really any of their remakes are honestly all that good. I think that the reports were that Disney was going to stop making these, and then a report came out before this movie even was released based on the sales that they were already in talks of making a sequel. So nothing is sacred at this point. Even things that I love is not sacred at this point from Disney's perspective, and it's just another one of those hollow shells of a remake just for them to make more money that they already have. I'm going to give Lilo and Stitch 1 star. Thank you guys so much for watching. Look forward to more reviews very soon. You can check down all the socials down below, where we have a bunch of other things on TikTok, Letterboxd, and Twitter. Thanks again for watching, guys. Keep those cinemas alive. I will talk to you all next time.